Hi everybody, I'm going to do a quick video from some things that we talked about in class about how to utilize the JCC library databases to cite your work and then to use that for your works cited page. So we're just going to go to resources, and then we're going to I think we'll just use NC Live, and we'll just do a quick little search. I've got to log in. Sorry, I'm not at school today, so let me just get logged in. Okay, so I'm going to go down. Hold on. I'm going to go and just do a little search, and we're just going to stick with the turtle thing. We'll just see what comes up. So we're trying to deal more with scholarly articles. With NC Live and some of the databases, you can get other things such as ebooks, magazine articles, videos, all sorts of things. But we'll just stick with, for the purpose of showing you this, we'll stick with the scholarly article. So let's say that this one works for me and it works for my topic, and I'm going to use it. And I would say any article that you think would be something you would use, even if you're not 100% sure, maybe go ahead and email it to yourself, because you can do it right over here. Just email it to yourself. We had talked about you could also create a project file within the database. And you could download the PDF if you want to do that into your computer, if you have a computer that will allow downloads. And there are all sorts of options over here. So I would say explore your options. But you can also print the article, but honestly, a lot of articles are very long and that might be very cumbersome. So I think it's probably best to just email it or download it, save it in some way, because if you don't save it, you'll forget how to find it. And so we just want to make it a little bit more streamlined so that as you start to write your paper, you'll have everything at your fingertips and you don't have to do extra work. So one of the things that I do is, if there's something I know I'm pretty much going to use, or I know I'm going to consider as I write the paper, I sort of create a working works cited page. And then of course, once I write the paper, I go back and take anything out that I haven't used. This is up to you. Everybody just needs to sort of form their own system in how you do this. I like to save time, and I like to just sort of do things once instead of having to return back and do them several times or look at them several times. So usually I do keep a working works cited page for the sources that I'm pretty sure are going to find their way into a project. Again, that may not work for everybody, but let's just say either you're doing what I do and do a working works cited page, or you've used this in your paper and now you're creating your works cited page. So using the citation generators is a great way to start. You do not probably want to try to manually do this, because a lot of times when you're trying to manually do it, you'll miss something. And you have the ability to use these great citation generators, but the ones that are on the databases are probably the better ones. Or if you have a database tied to, like some of you may be dually enrolled with State or ECU or UNCW, and sometimes you have access to their databases for their libraries. And you would just, whatever database you're using, use the citation generator. You can also use the Purdue OWL citation generator. That has a little bit more steps to it, because you're having to actually enter in the information. And while a lot of people use EasyBib, I would just suggest that maybe that's not your best option, just because it's not as reliable. Even with the citation generators that are used through the scholarly databases, or through Purdue or any other scholarly resource that you're using, you as the student, you have to go back and double check those citations using the little seagull, or you can use the Purdue OWL information that they supply under the MLA just search MLA citations, and you'll have those categories that we talked about. Is it a journal? Is it a journal with one author, two authors? Is it a website, a video? Whatever you are citing, you have to make sure that you have cited that correctly for that type of source. So in this case, I've got this journal article, and I'm going to copy it over. And then I'm going to go down here, and I'm just going to open up a Word document. Hopefully this will work. So I'm going to open this up, and then I'm going to go ahead and just sort of create my title, which is Works Cited. And as we all know, we have to use Times New Roman. You can do this at the very beginning and just sort of make sure that everything's Times New Roman, 12 font, or you can wait till the end and then just do the whole document. So you can do it piece by piece or all at one time. Always adjust your margins. So the title has to be centered, and everything else should be left side margins. So now I'm going to copy over my citation. As we can see, it's not in the correct format for the font, and it's not in the correct format for the hanging indent. So all citations have to have a hanging indent, and I'm going to show you how to do that easily and using the tools in Microsoft Word to get that formatted correctly. So we're going to highlight the citation, and then we're going to go over here and kind of manipulate the font and the size. So we're going to make it Times New Roman 12-point font. And then it's not double spaced, so we have to do that. And so we're going to go over to this little paragraph icon. That's what I consider it. It says line and paragraph spacing. But so we're going to make it double spaced. And then we're going to have to go back up here, and we're going to go to line spacing options. And then we're going to go over here to special, and we're going to choose hanging. And then say OK. And it did not work. Let me try that again. So we're going to go over to special, and we're going to go hanging. And I'm not sure. Oh, hold on. Wrong place. We're going to go to hanging, and then we're going to say OK. And then it does the work for us. Once you do that, then you're going to want to open up the little seagull, if you have the 8th edition MLA little seagull. And whether you do or don't, you can also check it in the Purdue OWL MLA section, or you can check it using some of the resources that I've supplied for 8th edition. And then you should have the e-text linked into Inquisitive. So there are lots of ways you can check it, but it's your responsibility to check it because you can get points deducted for any kind of formatting errors that you have. I would also suggest that you save your documents. You can do it both DOCX in Microsoft Word, or you can do PDF. When you submit, you can submit it both ways before you hit send, when you want to send it to me. So you can either save it as a PDF, and that's perfectly fine. I can grade it with that, or I can grade it as a Microsoft DOCX, or send both if we're not sure. I don't know why, and I've talked to Joel about this, and they're not always sure why, but you should be using the Microsoft Word 365, Office 365 version that's supplied to you by JCC. However, even with that, depending on what device you're using to submit your work, sometimes there can be a glitch in compatibility with Blackboard, and it can shift the formatting. So with PDF, it should preserve the formatting that you see in front of you, and then that when it comes to me, I can grade it as you've intended it to be. So, but you're welcome to do DOCX and PDF if you just want to be safe, and then if there's a problem with formatting, I'll look at the other one. You can't submit pages or anything associated with like a Mac software or any other kind of software. It has to be Microsoft Word, DOCX, or PDF, and use the most recent one, which again is supplied free for you through JCC. So if you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully this helps.